Hello students, in today's video we will see what is the meaning of journal, how the transactions are to be recorded in the journal, what are the rules which are to be followed while recording the transactions in a journal. So before seeing what a journal is actually, we need to again go back to the definition of financial accounting. So we have seen in the definition of financial accounting, here the definition is given by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants. So it has defined accounting as the art of recording, classifying and summarizing in a significant manner and in terms of money, transactions and events which are in part at least of financial character and interpreting the results thereof. So this definition gives the entire scope of accounting. So from this definition it is clear that the first task of accounting is recording. It is the art of recording. So first of all, we can understand from this definition that first of all, the transactions of a financial character are to be recorded in the books of accounts. Now, the book of account where the transactions are first of all recorded is called as the journal. So we come to the meaning of journal. So a journal is defined as a book containing a chronological record of transactions. Chronological means as and when the transactions take place, they are recorded in the journal in that sequence only. It is a book in which the transactions are recorded first of all under the double entry system, and journal is also called as the book of original record. And again, when we record the transactions in the journal, that process is called as journalizing. So this is the format of a journal. Okay, it has date, particulars, LF, debit rupees and credit rupees columns. Now in the date column, we have to write the date on which the transaction had taken place, or when the transaction has been recorded. It will be the same date. Then in the particulars column, we have to write the two aspects of the transaction. Each transaction has two aspects, okay, debit and credit. So each aspect, one account will be debited, other account will be credited. So which are the two accounts which are debited and credited? Those two aspects are recorded in this column. Okay, it is the details regarding accounts which have to be debited and credited. Then LF means ledger folio. The transactions entered in the journal are later on classified and they are posted or they are transferred to the another book of accounts which is called as ledger. Okay. Now in the ledger, on which page number this particular entry, this particular transaction can be seen, that number is called as a ledger folio. Then debit. Next column is debit. In this column, the amount to be debited is entered, and credit column, the amount to be credited is shown. So before we enter the transactions in the journal, we need to know the types of accounts. Now all the transactions of a business are related to persons. They can be related to the properties and assets of the business. They can be related to the expenses and losses of the business. So the total transactions of a business can be categorized into these three types. Transactions related to persons, transactions related to properties and assets of the business, and transactions related to incomes and expenses of the business. So based on that, the accounts can be of three types: personal accounts, real accounts and nominal accounts. Now personal accounts are the accounts related to persons. Real accounts are the accounts related to the properties and assets of the business, and nominal accounts are the accounts which are related to the expenses and losses, incomes and gains of the business. So again, personal accounts can be classified into three categories: natural personal account, artificial personal account and representative personal account. Now natural personal account means the accounts which are related to natural persons, that means human beings like you and me. Okay, so it can be Sam account, Ram account, Rahim account. So if the accounts are related to natural persons, it will come under natural personal account. Then artificial personal account. Now the organizations, business organizations are given, business and service organizations, they are given the status of a artificial person for the sake of recording the transactions. So whatever accounts, whatever transactions are done with an organization, so those transactions or those accounts will be called as artificial personal accounts. For example, the account of a bank, the account of a company, the account of a trust, the account of a cooperative society. All these are examples of artificial personal account. Then the third category of personal account is representative personal account. Now, representative personal account means these are the incomes or expenses which are due or for to the particular person. They represent a particular person. Now, for example, outstanding rent account. Okay, this is a rent which is outstanding. This is outstanding to whom? It is outstanding to the landlord. Now here, since landlord is a person and to him the rent is outstanding, so this outstanding rent account will become a representative personal account. Then the second category of accounts is real account. So real account, again you can divide into tangible real account and intangible real account. Tangible real account, it is the accounts which is related to the assets or properties of the business which can be seen, which can be touched. Okay, so which are visible to your eyes, those accounts are called as tangible real accounts. Then the assets which fall under the category of intangible accounts are those which cannot be seen, which cannot be touched, but of course their value can be measured in terms of money. The examples of intangible real accounts are goodwill account. Goodwill means the reputation of a business which can be measured in terms of money. Okay, so that is an example of intangible real account. Then the third category of accounts is nominal account. Nominal accounts relate to the expenses and losses of the business and incomes and gains of the business. So whatever expenses and losses will be there, that will be recorded, or those types of accounts which are related to expenses and losses will be nominal account. Again, the accounts which are related to incomes and gains, they also will be called as the nominal accounts. Now we have seen the types of accounts. Next we'll see what are the rules for debit and credit. So for all these three accounts, there are specific rules, whether the account has to be debited or whether the account has to be credited. This has to be decided based on these rules. So the first rule is related to the personal accounts. So if the account falls under the category of personal account, then while recording it in the journal, the rule will be debit the receiver, credit the giver. Then for the second type of account, that is real accounts, the rule is debit what comes in, credit what goes out. And the third type of account, nominal account, the rule for recording the transactions or rule for debit credit will be debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So students, based on these rules, we will be able to record all the business transactions in a journal based on in a scientific manner, in a chronological manner, and then from the journal the transactions will have to be picked up and they'll have to be posted to the ledger where they will be classified. Okay, so students, I hope you'll have understood what is a journal, what are the different types of accounts, and what are the different rules of debit and credit for each type of account. Thank you.